Hello, my name is Dr. Rob Berry. I'm a retired assistant professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Psychology at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago. About 40 years ago, early 1980s, I had been seeing a psychic who was very well known and extremely accurate. She had told my father-in-law that he would be having an opportunity to travel to Florida, but he wouldn't want to, and he declined the opportunity. 3 months later, he had entered a contest with Walgreens, and the contest was a trip to Disney World in Florida. And yes, he did not want to go. My wife and I convinced him to go. We all went and had a lot of fun. She told my mother-in-law that a man in the neighborhood that she knew, didn't know well, but that she knew and would say hi to, would die of a heart attack in 3 weeks. And a man that she knew and she used to wave to in the neighborhood actually died of a heart attack in 3 weeks. She told me that I would be writing a book, innovative in my field, and that I would do it at age 50. Well, age 50 came along and there was no book. She had clairaudience. She confided in me because of my professional work that she would hear voices telling her these things. So I thought, well, maybe she actually heard 60. And so I thought, no, okay, got a reprieve there. 60 came along, the book wasn't written. 70 came along, and the book was now written, but not written in a format where I could yet publish it. So instead of waiting for me to finish what I started many years ago, I decided to present the basics of this material online so that people would have access to it and see if it would in some way benefit them in their life's experience. The title of this book is All Feelings Are Good and Right, A Guide to Intelligent Living. Now, if there's some kind of pulling back saying, how could all feelings be good and right? I understand. You would have to really know the distinction between a feeling and an emotion in order for that title to make sense. I have not heard anywhere or read anywhere this distinction being made. So this might be one of the few unique aspects that this book will present, that the information I'm going to share with you will present. Much of it would be considered traditional CBT, cognitive behavior therapy principles. However, it is that with spiritual underpinnings, which makes a rather significant difference. Feelings and emotions are part of our everyday experience. And I would say that much of the conflict in the world that exists today, intrapsychic conflict, interpersonal conflict, international conflict, is a result of not understanding the difference between feelings and emotions and their functions. So I'd like to share that with you right now. Feelings are the interior private experience that we have. Typical feelings: happy, sad, angry, joyful, frightened. Those feelings are experienced somatically in the body. They are in the interior private space. Nobody knows what you're feeling, what I'm feeling. We don't know what anybody else is feeling unless it gets communicated in some way, either through word or action behavior. Okay? A second thing about feelings is that we don't choose them. Feelings happen to us and they happen in us. This is different from the emotions. The word emotion comes from the Latin word emovere. It means away from or to move out from, and movere means to move. So to emote is to move a feeling away from the interior private space to the exterior public space. Okay? Also, distinct from a feeling, we can choose our emotions. We can choose whether or not to emote or how to emote. The whole of the acting profession is based on that fact. Okay? So feelings and emotions are distinctly different. And the primary difference is in their function. The function of a feeling is to expand consciousness of ourselves and our situations, so that out of that deeper understanding and clarity, there can be a more effective and right response taking place. Feelings are part of the intelligence system of the body, the brain, and the universe that birthed us. Emotions are different. The function of an emotion is to inform others of our experience in a way that invites understanding and wins cooperation if cooperation is needed. Okay? So we can't choose whether or not and how to emote. We can't say that all emotions are good and right, because we can use those emotions to hurt, to harm people, to manipulate, or persuade to our own personal gain. That's different from a feeling. How could it ever not be right to expand consciousness of self and situation? So you see, it's very important to understand this distinction between feelings and emotions. Feelings never give us the problem. Feelings are never the problem. The feeling is like the check engine light or the oil light on the dashboard of the car. It's the signal. When the oil light goes off, the problem is in the engine, it's the oil level. We don't mess with the oil light, we adjust the oil level. Or if it's a check engine light, the mechanic checks the engine and makes the adjustment, and the light goes out. So our feelings are like the oil light. The engine, the human brain, the oil level, the thought level. So when a feeling arises, its function is to get us to be more aware of our own thoughts and ideas that are producing the feeling, so we can edit them to fit the reality of what is. And here's where I borrow from Byron Katie. I love the way she puts this. All disturbing feelings tell us that we're attaching to a thought. I'll include sentence in the brain or story in the mind. That's at odds with reality in some way. Something's being denied, distorted, we're taking a fragment to be the whole, or fantasies replacing fact, which, by the way, is what worry is. And the work that we need to do is to align our thoughts with reality and truth. And when we do that, we move in the direction of being calmer, more relaxed, peaceful, or maybe just neutral. So I think Byron Katie presents that very beautifully in her work. Okay, so this is an extension that goes beyond that here. Okay? If we understood the function of the feeling and we didn't try to escape our feelings through some form of addiction or entertainment, and we actually did the work of understanding the feelings and made our edits, we would be living a life with a greater sense of internal harmony, interpersonal harmony, and at the macro level, I would even include international harmony. Okay? So understanding feelings and emotions, very important, very critical for living life intelligently and with a sense of harmony. There are 6 chapters in the beginning of the book, part 1. I just want to give you a little bit of chapter 4, which has to do with time. We have become prisoners of time. What does that mean? It means that we tend to take the past to be the reality of what is, bring it into the present, and then it carries on forward into our future. Well, the reality is, time is a mental construct or concept. There is no time in the universe. Okay? And what we think is carrying forward from past into future really is a result of not the past, but the present, what we do in the present moment. If you think of AA, right, one of the main sayings of AA is day at a time. Why does that work for many people? Because our future comes out of the present, it does not come out of the past. What we tend to do, however, is we make the past our present and carry it into the future. So we have this unreflected upon expectation that what was, is, and will be. Chapter 4, we take a look at that, we dismantle that so that we don't have to become prisoners of time. We can live the future that we want to live. But we have to first understand time and its limitations. So I'm inviting you to check the podcasts or the presentations that come on YouTube and join us on this journey of understanding how we as human beings are built, how to work with the machinery that exists in our body, brain, and mind, and start to live life from a place of greater peacefulness, equanimity, creativity, love, and joy.